It's Tuesday night. Oh, yes, it is. Cerebral Smack Talk. Hello, friends. It's Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio filling in tonight for good old MF, Michael Fletcher. Michael Fletcher is suffering from an illness beyond his control. He alerted me of that a little while ago. So, unfortunately, he will not be able to host tonight. He asked me to fill in, and I'm more than happy to do so. So we're going to run it down. Unfortunately, Michael Bullock will not be joining us either, because he has commitments beyond his control. So he had a busy night ahead of him. So he's out as well. So I'm joined by the first lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson, and we're going to run down Cerebral Smack Talk for you here tonight. And, I'll do my best to fill in for MF. It's not an easy task, but I'm willing to do it. So here we go. Tonight, so it was the go-home show for the Elimination Chamber coming up on Sunday night in Phoenix, Arizona. But this was the last pit stop on that road, and we're gonna run it down for you here tonight. Of course, with MF being out, unfortunately, there will not be a Mikey's Mindset, so it's just going to be a straight-up SmackDown Live review, and then that's it. So, all right, so let's start it off. We were live tonight at the Key Arena in Seattle, Washington. And which was very eerie because a year ago at this time, Daniel Bryan stood in that very ring, in that very facility on Monday Night Raw, and gave us far and away the greatest in-ring segment in Raw history when he announced his retirement. And it's only fitting that he started off this show tonight. Daniel Bryan, the general manager of SmackDown Live, he came out, big pop. You knew that was expected. The hometown pop. He is from Washington. Well, Aberdeen, Washington. And, he was talking about being grateful. And he was grateful that he got to go to Seattle and give the fans the best show that he could. And he said that he's grateful that very soon I'm going to be a father. And, of course, you know the story. Him and his wife, Brie Bella, expecting their first child in due time. And then at that moment, he would be interrupted by his arch nemesis, The Miz. The Miz, along with his wife, Maryse, they came out and, Miz disrespected Daniel Bryan and jumped on the fans as he always does. But then, wait, there's more. Baron Corbin, he comes out. He gets in Miz's face. And then, wait, more. Intercontinental Champion, the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose shows up, and he speaks his mind, and then they get interrupted by AJ Styles, and then all hell breaks loose, and then Daniel Bryan says, you know what? Why don't we give Seattle a preview of what we can expect in the Elimination Chamber? So we're going to have a fatal four-way match right here, right now. And that leads into the fatal four-way match. AJ Styles versus The Miz versus Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin. Winner of the match. In 13 minutes and 30 seconds, Baron Corbin wins it with the end of days on The Miz. Okay, 2-for-1 deal. As far as the segment goes, wow. Bryan returning to his home state is always a great time. The fans adore him, and it was logical booking to send The Miz out there to interrupt him. And that's really all I can say on that. Everybody played their parts well, and, a very good segment. It's one of the segments of the night because there was another in-ring segment that was just as exciting, and we'll get into that shortly. As far as the match is concerned, it's one of my top fights of the night, absolutely. I would probably say I could probably make an argument for co-fight of the night, honestly. I mean, because this was a really good match. 3.25 to 3.5 stars is my rating for the bout. I mean, we'll see how they frame it, but it should be treated like a major event when someone beats AJ Styles. And yes, I remember James Ellsworth beat him a few times too. Still, it would be nice if they would turn the corner with AJ to the point that his losses are rare and meaningful. But the match, like I said, very good match. Great action throughout. Crowd was red hot for it, as all of us were. So the segment I probably would say I could make an argument second best segment of the night for me. Or then again, you can make an argument for it to be the segment of the night because you had Daniel Bryan out there in his home state with the home fans. I think maybe because of the crowd reaction and the whole 9 yards, I probably would have to give the slight edge to that one, although the other in-ring segment was amazing as well. And we're going to get into that shortly. So as far as the match is concerned, second best by a smidge, second best fight of the night, probably about 3.25, 3.5 stars, because that was a really good match on my end. So Didi Woodson, come on in. Let's get your thoughts on the opening segment as well as that very good Fatal 4-Way match. Great preview for the Chamber.
Definitely a great way to start off SmackDown. Love the segment. Great to see all these guys come out and show their dominance and show that that they're all ready for this Chamber match. And of course, everyone thinking they're there from themselves. But funny thing is, Maurice is just standing there, and everybody's addressing everybody but her, and she's just kind of standing there, and she ends up being the human shield for the Miz and all this stuff. I mean, still it ends up being a really awesome opening segment. I could agree that it would be teetering on the co-segment of the night, but definitely it's definitely a very, very good segment, to say the least. The Fatal 4-Way match, I'll definitely agree with your rating on that one. That was a very good match. Very impressed with how the four guys did. Even with Maurice's little bit of interference, it still ended up being someone other than Miz winning, because you had Corbin winning it in the end. So just great way to start off SmackDown. So I'll toss it back to you.
All right. And next up we had this was it was Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips was moderating an interview segment. They had both Nikki Bella and Natalya in separate locations due to how volatile and personal the feud has become. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into that, Didi Woodson. I mean, we don't have to, but it is something that I just want to run down what went down on the show for anybody who may have missed it.
No, I don't really want to get into the interview with the two girls, but may touch a little bit on the segment that was before it with Harper, because that is kind of storyline progression.
Yes, Harper, yes.
Because he, without giving away what happens later on in the show, I mean, he pretty much put Orton on notice. So, and it leads to an upcoming match between the two of them. So, I mean, that's definitely a segment we probably should touch on. But as far as the interview, I mean, it wasn't worth the time to address, because it was basically the same nonsense they say every time they put these two in the ring together. So,
right,
I'm not going to worry about that. So I'll let you address the segment, and then we can just move on.
Yeah. Luke Harper cut a promo on a backstage promo on Randy Orton, and I mean, it was a very good promo. I mean, it was very intriguing as far as the Harper promo goes. And he said Randy Orton stole his family and is a liar. Said he's seen the snake in the grass for too long and he knows how to fix it. He said cutting the head off the viper is too easy. He's like, no, I want to hurt you, and I want you to feel pain. And Harper said, I challenge you, Randy Orton, to a match at Elimination Chamber where you will be eliminated. Oh, that's good stuff. Very good stuff. So, yeah, the Harper promo, very intriguing. The Nikki and Natalya bickering and brawling program just hasn't connected with me. Natalya's insults were more entertaining than usual this time around. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Then we had a match, Apollo Crews against Dolph Ziggler. This is actually going to be a cutout here because this was not much of a match. Apollo Crews actually won the match in 1 minute and 5 seconds after a roll-up. The dreaded roll-up out of nowhere. and I know Didi will agree with me on this, no rating to a dud. This was far and away the worst fight of the night. I mean, it's such a weird feud. Ziggler beats up Kalisto one week and Cruz saves him. Ziggler beats up Cruz the next week and Kalisto saves him. It would make for a strange three-way match if there are two baby faces and one heel. And, well, we're not going to see a three-way match. We are, however, going to see a 2-on-1 handicap match on Sunday at the Elimination Chamber. Daniel Bryan booked it in a backstage segment with Dolph Ziggler. It's going to be Dolph Ziggler one against two against both Kalisto and Apollo Crews. Yeah, that's not going to be anything special. Let's not kid ourselves. That fight's going to be one of the. I wouldn't be surprised if that. I would not be surprised if that ends up being the worst fight of the night on Sunday night. And the handicap match might actually be stranger than the three-way. I mean, at least it felt like Bryan was punishing the heel, not making it seem like the babyfaces needed the numbers advantage to compete with Ziggler. So
hopefully they put it on the pre-show.
I agree. That definitely belongs on the kickoff show, no doubt about it. I don't know when we're gonna find out about that, but maybe on the Talking Smack show on the network next hour. So that's really all we can say about that. So now we're gonna get into something extremely fun here. Oh, we're gonna have some fun with this. And I know Didi Woodson especially is going to have some fun with this because this is her wheelhouse. She is our women's division expert after all. So what happened here was we had the beautiful Renee Young in the ring. She presided over the first ever dual contract signing because we have two women's matches that are going to go down at the Elimination Chamber. Well, technically three if you count Nikki and Natalya. Personal opinion, I would have loved to have seen all six of these gals inside the chamber myself, because that would have been pushing the envelope like they've been doing with the women's division. But we're going to get three singles matches. We already know about Nikki and Natalya, but we're going to get Becky Lynch one-on-one with Mickie James. And, of course, the women's championship match with Alexa Bliss and Naomi. They had the contract signing. They all spoke their mind. Mickie James basically shooed Renee Young out of the ring and says, yeah, we got this. Get out of here. And Mickie James spoke first, saying that she has more experience than everyone in the ring combined. And then she told Becky Lynch that the division was built on her obsession to be the best. And Mickie claimed that Lynch is trying to erase her past and take all the credit. And said, hey, I waited 7 long years to get back here. And I got 7 years of rage built up in me. And I'm going to show you on Sunday that I not only created the division, but I created you, Becky Lynch. And she said that without her, there would be no Becky Lynch. And then Becky shook her head in disbelief. And James says, hey, the reinvention of me starts Sunday with the destruction of you, Becky Lynch. And then Lynch said, no one is trying to erase your accomplishments, but I respected your accomplishments. But then you teamed up with that little troll to take my championship. And she said James walked away when it got tough. Very true. I mean, Mickie James was undergoing a lot of personal issues, and there were a lot of backstage issues, and that's what led to her dismissal, her release back in 2010. She had walked, and then she returned with a chip on her shoulder. And Lynch said she will walk through James and slap you back into the past. And then Alexa Bliss talked about Becky Lynch, said, hey, show respect to Mickie James. She beat Hall of Famer Trish Stratus at WrestleMania 22 for her win for the women's championship. Yes, indeed. Second greatest match in WrestleMania history. Last year, when Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky threw down in Jerry World, that was the new greatest match in WrestleMania history, women's wise. She said the only thing that runs through Lynch's veins is toxic, cheap orange hair dye. Bliss said the title being on her shoulder means it's her division. She signed the contract, then picked up the mic and said, oh, I'm sorry, Naomi. I completely forgot about you. And I'll just beat you on Sunday. That's it. And Naomi said, well, don't forget me because I beat you twice. Keep underestimating her, and I'm going to keep snatching you bald. And she said, hey, we're 2 months away from WrestleMania in my hometown of Orlando, Florida. And she said there was no way she was going to let anyone take away her dream of dancing down that aisle at WrestleMania as the SmackDown Women's Champion. And then he said, I'm going to feel the glow. And then like all contract signings, well, this one in the Immortal with the JBL, it didn't end well. Bam. Naomi kicks Bliss, and then cat fight ensues, and that's basically all she wrote right there. So
pretty much.
Oh, Dee Woodson. I mean, I bet they. I mean, you've been very critical of the women's division, but I'm sure they impressed you tonight because they impressed me.
Oh yeah, they impressed me. In fact, I could possibly add to Lynch's comments to Alexa Bliss, because here she's talking about the hair dye, when Alexa Bliss pretty much looks like a bleach blonde with red highlights on the end. So but as far as the segment itself, for me this would have been the other one that could have got segment of the night, because I mean, these four handled themselves really well out in the ring, and they definitely were able to throw their comments back and forth very well, to even at the point to where when Naomi went to attack Bliss, Mickey kind of forgot, well, Lynch is standing over here, so she starts to go after Naomi, and it ends up being Lynch pulling her off, so that it becomes more the one-on-one between all of them. But of course, every contract signing always has to end with a fight, and the new trend now is every contract signing, they always kick the moderator out. So if you pretty much know if the moderator's been kicked out, it's going to end up in the end with a fight. And they spilled out of the ring before the contract signing table was even turned over. But I mean, I think what put the nail in it at the end was Naomi jumping over the rope and taking out both Mickey and Alexa at the same time, and of course Lynch getting out of the way just in time for her to do that. I mean, because you had the two of them standing tall at the end, and it's rare sometimes for the baby faces to be the ones that are on top at the end, because a lot of times it's the heel that is. But this time, it was very very fitting for them to do that, and I have nothing bad to say about it. Like I said, for me, this the opening segment, this one would be the co-segments for the for the night. So not much more to say. Let's just move on.
Yeah, that was a fun segment. Everyone's personalities shined and built the two matches in play, and Mickie James and Alexa Bliss were in particular very good heels here, no doubt about it. Even though everybody played their parts well. And well, I mean, anyway, and I also like the way they worked in Naomi, and they worked in that she can go into WrestleMania as the hometown champion. I don't know if that's the direction they're going, but it left me feeling like there's a better chance of her winning this match than I did before she mentioned it. So, yeah, so that was very good. So I do apologize. A pop-up just came up. I just got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Just give me 1 second here. Can't help wonder if you came back to take advantage. Yeah, I do apologize for that. I didn't know I had a pop-up on my end. But as I was trying to say before I was rudely interrupted by that pop-up, I like the way they worked in Naomi, and they also worked in that she can go into WrestleMania as the hometown champion. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if that's the direction they're going, but it left me feeling like there's a better chance of her winning this match than I did before she mentioned it. Granted, she also spoke about that on Talking Smack last week, but I believe this is the first time they played it up on SmackDown Live. So, yeah, so very fun segment indeed. It's the other great segment of the night. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. So now we move on to a 12-man tag team match involving all 6 teams that are going to be competing in the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Turmoil match, which will go down this Sunday at Elimination Chamber. SmackDown Tag Team Champions American Alpha, along with Tyler Breeze and Fandango, of course, Breezango, along with the inaugural SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Heath Slater and Rhino. They went up against the Usos, the Vaudevillains, and the Ascension. Winners of the match in 9 minutes and 45 seconds. It was the Usos, the Vaudevillains, and the Ascension, and it was the Ascension with the pinfall on Rhino, Victor with the cover on Rhino for the 1, 2, 3. Well, the Ascension winning the match seemed to take the air out of the building. I can't even remember the last time they won a match. I just wish WWE could settle into a real tag program between the American Alpha and the Usos and find other ways to get everyone else on the card. But other than that, though, I got to be honest. I actually enjoyed this match. I thought this was another solid match here. I could say third best fight of the night here, without a doubt. Solid 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating for it. And hey, give credit where credit is due. They actually put the Ascension over. Very surprised about that. So, well, it only leads me to think that Booking 101 is going to come into play here. I don't see them walking out as the tag team champions. This weekend, I'll give you my thought on who I think is going to walk out with the belts. So that's all I can say on that. So 2.5 to 3 stars, third best fight of the night, good action throughout, and a surprise outcome. So Didi Woodson, how'd you feel about that 12-man tag team craziness?
Definitely, it was definitely craziness. First of all, I'm going to apologize for me disappearing there for a minute. My laptop's a touch screen. Touch the screen, window goes away. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I agree with the rating, and I agree that it was very, very crazy. But yeah, you don't get someone like the Ascensions winning that often. All right, you're being vocal tonight. Let's chill down. Sorry about that. But yeah, you know, I think it was fitting to have a heel team actually win the turmoil tonight, especially since I couldn't really make heads or tails out of that, the way they set up the team, because here you had Rhino and Heath over on one side with Breezango and American Alpha, and I wouldn't really call Breezango a face team, but it was kind of bizarre set up the way they had it set up. And you wouldn't think that the teams would be able to actually work together like they did, but somehow they managed, and we have the Ascension pulling it out in the end. So very good match. So let's just move on.
And we move on to the main event of the evening. First time ever on SmackDown Live. WWE Champion John Cena squaring off against the winner of the 2017 Royal Rumble match, Randy Orton. Winner of the match in 13.5 minutes. WWE Champion John Cena with an AA on Randy Orton for the 1, 2, 3. No doubt about this. This was the fight of the night for me. Solid 3.5 stars. Crowd was hot for the match and Luke Harper's appearance. The finish was pretty ridiculous in terms of how the ref missed so much, yet just happened to recover just in time. How excited are we supposed to be about Randy Orton in a WrestleMania main event when he tapped and then was pinned by John Cena? That's the only little gripe I had. But other than that, this was a very good match. I mean, some good near falls, good action throughout. Luke Harper with the appearance to get to Randy Orton, and that is official. Luke Harper will face Randy Orton at the Elimination Chamber on Sunday night. So I don't know what else there is to say on that, except fight of the night for me, 3.5 stars. That's all I can say. So, Didi Woodson, your thoughts on this main event? Cena and Orton for the 11 billionth time.
Definitely 11 billionth time. a lot of what we saw out there, of course, was the same old Orton, but then, of course, you throw in Bray Wyatt, and that kind of adds um, the little bit extra to the match. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's very vocal tonight. But to me, you know, I've said it before. I'm a John Cena mark. We all know Fletch is the Orton mark. So I guess you'd say this would be a match between me and him, and of course my guy won. So um, even with all the interference and uh, you know, I got a little confused when they pulled Orton up into the AA and then Orton grabbing hold of the rope, letting go, and Cena backing right into the ref. I think that's where it kind of all went into like something you'd see in a Twilight Zone. I mean, it was just really weird because that's when the ref goes down and, all these things happen, and the ref really was not hit that hard for him to be out that long for all that to go down. But surprise, surprise, Luke Harper comes out, and just when you think he's under Bray's spell, clothesline to Bray, and we see Harper free of the Wyatt family for the first time. So it's going to be very interesting to see what goes down for the dysfunctional Wyatt family right now. And at least we have a champion that's going into the Elimination Chamber as champion and is willing to defend it against anybody who comes his way, even 5 days before pay-per-view. So congratulations to them, and I'll agree with the rating. So let's get the overalls.
Yeah, overall review. Edie Whitson, what did you think about this show tonight? I thought it was another great show as always.
Oh yeah, as always, it was one of the great ones. I'm actually going to go very high on this, which is odd because I'm usually one of the ones that goes a little bit harder on both shows. But I'm actually going to give this a solid 9 because of, we only had one cutout in the whole night, and just about everything was storyline progression. But we had like the one lame interview segment and the one lame match, and the girls knocked it out of the park for the signing. All the matches except for the one were just right there. No matter even if they did have that little bit of interference, it didn't interfere as much as to really cause a problem in the end. So very good show. And in my opinion, I know you're the Raw guy. Raw has a lot of work to do to compete with the product that SmackDown has been putting out lately, because we haven't had too many lame SmackDown shows since the roster split happened. So I'll toss it back to you now.
Yes, great point indeed, Edie Whitson. You're absolutely right. I am a Raw guy. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but SmackDown Live has been far and away better since this whole thing started. Even though Raw's been turning the corner lately in a good way, and especially with the signing of Samoa Joe, which I think will definitely help the main event picture out, no question. But getting back to this, I'm right there with you. 8.5 to 9 out of 10 is my rating for this show tonight. The storyline progression. It worked. It worked in all assets, like in all facets, like Edie Whitson said. Consistent hype for the Elimination Chamber event, which is what you have to do. One of the better go-home shows we've seen in a while. Everything on this show was amazing. The only critical things, of course, Ziggler and Cruz. I mean, that was an absolute dud. I mean, a minute and 5 seconds. Those guys deserved way better, especially if you want us to take that feud seriously. And then let's get in. And then, of course, that via satellite interviews, that awkward interview segment. Tom Phillips having to interview both Nikki Bella and Natalya. That was a little. I mean, it was fine, but it was just paint by the numbers. Cookie cutter usual stuff there. So I would say skip the interview segment, skip the Ziggler and Cruz fight, but go out of your way to see everything else. I mean, Cena and Orton fighting the night by a smidge, that 4-way with Corbin, Styles, Miz, and Ambrose, that was the second best fight. And then rounding out the top 3 was the 12-man tag, which was surprisingly good. I didn't have really high hopes for it, but thought it was going to be a cluster bleep as usual. But no, I'm glad that it got some good time and had some good action in that bout. And then the dual contract signing with the 2 women's bouts at Chamber. I thought those came out really good. And then that opening segment when you had Daniel Bryan with the hometown, home state pop and having all those guys to come out. So yeah, that was great way. Storyline progression as usual. And Elimination Chamber is most definitely shaping up come Sunday night. And this weekend, I am hopeful that MF will be with us, but I'm guessing I'm probably going to be hosting that preview show on Saturday night because we have because I know he's going to be watching the UFC event on Saturday night, so I'll probably be hosting the preview show. I'm sure Bullock will be with us, and we'll go from there. So,
and this is
how the card.
Yeah, this is what 411 has for the card.
Yeah, I got it. I got it right here too, Didi. I was going to run it down anyway. We got 7 matches on the card here. I found it here. Of
so
course,
far.
What's that?
Said so far.
Yeah, 7 so far. They could always add more, but we have it right here. Of course, we know the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. John Cena defending against AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, Baron Corbin, and Bray Wyatt. Nikki Bella will square off against Natalya. Tag team turmoil for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. American Alpha defending against Heath Slater and Rhino, Breezango, the Usos, the Ascension, and the Vaudevillains. Alexa Bliss will defend her SmackDown Women's Championship against Naomi. Mickie James one-on-one with Becky Lynch. Apollo Crews and Kalisto teaming up against Dolph Ziggler in a 2-on-1 handicap match. And just added tonight, Randy Orton one-on-one with Luke Harper. I'll tell you what, my friends, this is definitely shaping up to be another phenomenal SmackDown Live exclusive pay-per-view. I'm sure I'm probably going to be hosting the preview show on Saturday night, and then MF should be back on Sunday night for the recap show. So definitely looking forward to that. So that will put the bow on this very much abbreviated edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. Unfortunately, like I said, MF had to miss the show tonight because of an illness beyond his control. Of course, with him being out, unfortunately, no Mikey's mindset, unfortunately. So I'm sure he'll have that for you. Hopefully he'll be back with us next week for that. And yeah, so that's it. So we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in to this edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. And of course, don't forget, we'll next be with you on Friday night. Friday night at around, well, actually, no, it'll be at 10:30 on Friday night, right back here on the Tone 25. Of course, I'll run down the docket for you one more time. We'll give you our thoughts on the new 7 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame class. We'll recap the winners of the NFL honors. We'll talk about what were our favorite Super Bowl commercials. Michael Vick officially announcing his retirement from the NFL. The St. Louis Cardinals hacking case. Zach LaVine out with a torn ACL for the Minnesota Timberwolves, which means we're going to have a new slam dunk contest champion, obviously, because he's won the last two. We'll also have a preview of UFC 208, and we'll close it out, of course, with our NHL Power Rankings. So that all goes down Friday night, 10:30, right back here on the Tone 25. Of course, Saturday night sometime. I'll have to work out the details with Bullock on that. We'll try to get you an Elimination Chamber preview show. I'm sure MF's going to be out of that because he's going to be watching the UFC event up at the Buffalo Wild Wings here in East Providence, Seekonk area. But I'm sure he'll be back with us Sunday night for the recap of the Elimination Chamber. And then next Monday night, Ridiculously Raw. I know I said I was going to get into who won that 5-way cruiserweight match, but I'm just gonna save that. I'll save that for my Tony's take on 205 Live when I do that as part of Ridiculously Raw on Monday night. And then next Tuesday night, Cerebral Smack Talk. Hopefully, we'll have MF back. Shame he got sick, but things happen and they happen for a reason. So yeah, I definitely want to. I want to send a special shout out to MF. I appreciate him giving me the keys to this car tonight, and more than happy to help out. You know me, so MF. We hope you. We wish you a speedy recovery, and we hope. I'm hopeful we'll get to see you on Friday night for Strictly Sports, and we'll go from there. So feel better, MF. I hope we did the show justice tonight. So that's it. So until Friday night for Strictly Sports, it's Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio for the Twisted Angel and First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Dee Whitson, and in spirit, of course, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and the man, the myth, the legend who put it all together, the hardcore pipe on Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed rest of the week. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.